Yo.
Hey, hey. Coming to you live, ladies and gentlemen, from San Diego, California. One of the most laid back towns in the nation of the United States of America. Come on, man. Wax's podcast, talking that shit about uninteresting facts. Wax's podcast, listen to it every Wednesday. Which is not really accurate. It's not accurate to say listen to it every Wednesday anymore. Am I correct about that?
That's
not
fact.
at all, man. Not at all accurate, because I don't fucking do the podcast consistently like I used to. Oh, that's funny. We're here in San Diego, California, like I said earlier, and I said that's funny because every once in a while you're definitely going to hear we're reporting from the garage, so it makes it even less soundproof from the outside world. And the outside world here contains airplanes flying directly overhead because we're relatively close to the airport. And this is episode 94, Wax's podcast. I got a special guest with me, man. Who do I got in the motherfucking house? Who is it? Big mystery. Big mystery.
The one and only Herbal T.
Hey, Herbal T. At Herbal T is great on Twitter, on Instagram. You can follow his antics on social media. Social media. It's crazy these days.
It's crazy.
Am I right?
What's crazy about social media is it really social?
It's not really part of the media. It's kind of antisocial, I would say. I would say that social media is actually kind of anti-social media.
As far as dealing with people in actual real life, if that's social, then social media is.
You're not actually
it prevents you from dealing with people in real life.
You're not actually looking at anybody in the face anymore. You're just walking around looking at your phone and just presenting people your life as you kind of only. Like, social media is like a greatest hits of your own life. It's like an ESPN highlight reel.
It's also, especially Instagram, I'd say, which is my favorite social media platform, is also the way to present your fake life to people, where you're presenting what people want you to see in this idealized like world that you sort of live in.
I would love to see, especially you know, you guys having kids, and like, you know, I've been here the last couple of days, and of course it's awesome to have kids, and they do a lot of cool things, and those are always the pictures you snap and take on Instagram. A bunch of smiling faces, say cheese, even that saying cheese, like, this motherfucker did not really want to say cheese. You know what I mean? Even there's a little bit of fakeness in that. Like, why is he randomly saying the name of a dairy product at all, much less cheese? Because you know that when he says cheese, he's gonna look like he's smiling. But in his heart, is he?
No,
I don't know. But I'd like to see an Instagram page called just The Real Mom. You know what I mean? It probably exists.
Yeah, I'm sure that exists.
But just all negative shit. All negative mom shit.
What they should have is somehow an Instagram page where it's like everything is like once a day they're just like, you take a random moment of the day and someone unbeknownst to you takes a pic of like your actual life.
How would you get that unbeknownst person to... So
you'd
it'd be
like
you'd have to just hire
like
a stalker?
Spystagram, where you have like the Wax Instagram, and then I'd hire someone to stalk you like somehow.
Like,
and
you'd
then
have
they
like
just
a
snap a photo.
you'd have
Like, what are you actually doing? You got like today at 3:45 a.m. at night, and you're like, doing whatever
like a creepy
act.
like a creepy paparazzi guy that follows somebody who's not famous.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Catch you at your moments when you don't look your best, you know? Even regular people, like, if you see the thing on Instagram, they took that picture 50 times, you know?
Yeah, like, here's Wax picking his nose.
Or if fucking, what if there was an Instagram app, nobody would ever do this, but if instead of you taking a picture and posting it, once a day it just took a random photo from your little album on your phone and posted that. That'd be a lot of people getting in trouble.
Yeah.
That's
a funny idea. That's actually not a bad idea, though.
It's not.
Randomgram, and it's like
Randomgram.
because everyone has thousands of photos in their phone, and it could take one. And I mean, if you're
nobody would ever do that.
No,
nobody would ever do it.
Subject themselves to do that. You'd have to do it all. You know how they had like the leaked. There was that thing where like someone hacked into like iCloud and leaked all the famous people's like naked photos that came from their phone. You'd have to have those people set up a whole separate like Instagram like site and set up accounts for the famous people that they hacked. Hackagram, and they just have like a fake. Actually, that'd be funny. I've like it was Jennifer Lawrence was the celebrity that was like the most like they had like nude pics of her or whatever, and just like have like as if it was. I'm not suggesting that someone steal like nude pics, not even about that shit, but just like have a picture of someone that's not real flattering, but act like you're the actual person when you caption it. You know what I mean? Like, OMG, I was here doing,
Wow, man, what else is going on, man? I had a good weekend, man. I put out a new song on Friday. Seems like people like it. Called "This One's on Me." Go check it out if you haven't. The song is on all my various social media, and I'm trying to put my best foot forward. I think it's a good song. Saturday night I went to Santa Ana, California, and I was the host of Watsky's show. Watsky had a show at the Constellation or the Observatory in Santa Ana, and he had me be the host. It was the first time I've ever hosted something, and I think I did a pretty fucking good job, man.
Now, like, when you told me, or I saw that on social media, that you were hosting, and I'd like, they don't usually have hosts for, like, I guess some music shows have hosts, but it's usually not, like, when I go see a show, I don't think of a host between all the acts coming out and be like, oh, okay, next, here we got coming to stage, Ghostface Killah and Raekwon.
You may know him from the Purple Tape. You may know him from his recent hip-hop beef with... Yeah, but I did. The first time I came out, I was just like talking shit to the crowd, being like, "Hey, how you doing?" and all, whatever. And I just talked for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then there was like it was like a 15-minute thing, and I had the DJ just start playing songs, and like when you go see a DJ, sometimes he has a hype man that just says "hell yeah" every once in a while.
Yeah.
I thought it would just be like that, but the problem was. People weren't really looking at it like that because I had already kind of introduced myself as this host, so people were looking at me like, okay, what's this guy's purpose? You know what I mean? And like the DJ just started playing like popular songs, and I was just like, what the fuck do I do now? So I just started sort of doing ad-libs and sort of doing little dances. Every once in a while I'd be like, everybody make some noise. And then I just ended up developing this thing where I just started talking. I just started yelling about how good of a host I was. I was just like, when I didn't know what to do and I felt awkward, I'm just like, I am the best host of all time. You never seen somebody host like me. I remember like singing along to some song he was playing and then like getting the words wrong. I said that it was the worst American Idol performance of all time. I remember saying that like I thought when they told me to host, I'd be standing at the front asking people how many in your party.
How many in your party? Now, our code room is this way, and have you dined with us before?
But the second time
they ask that. They ask that nowadays. I've noticed is that they'll say when you go in, the host will say, "Have you dined with us before?"
And it's like, no, but I've been to a restaurant.
Yeah, like what? Okay, if you say yes or no, like what are you gonna know? Like, well, it's very different here, so I'm gonna have to explain it to you and give you the instructions.
Right, like it's gonna be that much different.
Yeah,
like they're gonna be like the menus fly in on hovercrafts. But now I was gonna say the second set I actually did like some material from my stand-ups. I've been doing a bunch of stand-up comedy, as you know. I mean, you're my fucking brother. I talk to you all the time. But for the people of the podcast, who don't know, I've been doing a lot of stand-up comedy over there in Los Angeles. A lot of sets, telling a lot of gags, doing a lot of bits.
Yeah.
So the second time I went out there, like I made sure that I actually talked for longer because it was much less awkward to just talk to the crowd than it was to do the like, oh, I'm a hype man for a DJ kind of shit. So I just started telling jokes. I was making up a bunch of shit on the spot. Making fun of Orange County because it was in Orange County. I told them that what they didn't know about Orange County is that they actually named the county after the skin tone of all the middle-aged white women that live there.
Nice,
I got a good laugh. Shit like that, Yeah. Did my little bits or whatever. And then I had Watsky come out. Like, I had him come out. Like, he was going to not come out unless I fucking told him to.
I planned it. I planned that he was going to come out and do a set.
And he killed it. And then I fucking partied with those dudes that night and stayed at, like, a house that they rented down there, which really was not that close to the venue. Like, I was like, cool, I'm in LA, I'll go halfway down there, and then I'll take the next day. I'll already be halfway to San Diego, so I'll just spend a couple of days down there chilling with the fam. So I was thinking about getting a hotel room or something, and they were like, no, we got a house, we got a big Airbnb house by the venue. But it turned out that the Airbnb house was like an hour north of the venue. It was like pretty much driving back to LA. But I still went, had a good time. Then came down here, and man, I'll tell you what, the day we had yesterday, pretty magical, man. I don't know if the magic is describable via words and podcasts as much of a had to be there thing, but it was me, you, your wife, and your 2 kids. And we just went to Balboa Park in San Diego and had a family day, man. We rode the train. Kids ran around having foot races, went to a nice restaurant. There was like some museums there, like people, all kinds of live music going on.
Great place to be, man.
And there was something about it that was just magical, man. Yeah. Even the way the weather was, and
we went. You go like that time of day too, when it's like dinner time, you know, and it's when in the summer when it's still light, but it was kind of like by the time we left, it was getting dark. You know,
sunsetty.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, man. It was beautiful, man.
Oh,
and I was thinking about what else can we talk about? There's a couple topics I had thought to talk about, maybe a little bit on the podcast. The first thing I was thinking of is
I like that. I don't know what they're gonna be.
Like, yeah, well, the first thing I was thinking of is the other day I told somebody I feel almost, it almost feels like this dude is so everywhere. I almost feel like Donald Trump is fucking stalking me. I can't go anywhere. I can't go online anywhere. I can't go to a bar where there's a TV. I can't go sit anywhere where they're playing any kind of radio or news without seeing that guy, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I can't go anywhere without seeing Donald Trump's face and hearing Donald Trump's voice. Like, his PR team is, like, killing it. I guess. I don't know. Maybe he just says a bunch of outlandish shit.
That's true, but I think there's, like, there's this entertainment factor that he has that, like, that draws you... Because the media is run by clicks and views. Like, they just want people to go to their... and look at their shit. So, like, for some reason, when there's an article about Donald Trump, like, who's going to read an article about, the other candidate? Like,
exactly.
Are you going to click on that Jeb Bush article?
But like, even the way you worded that, the other candidates.
Yeah.
Like,
I know a lot of their names, but I don't have any interest in, like, what did they do today? Like, Donald Trump, you said just, like, any article, it's like him. It's like, oh, what did he do? What did he say? What happened? You know?
Right. He's like the Kanye of that shit.
Actually, yeah. It's kind of like the...
like, you never know what you're going to get, what he's going to say.
Mm-hmm.
And he says a bunch of crazy shit, man. He says a lot of crazy shit.
Crazy shit. And it's like... it's evolved from... oh, this is crazy. Donald Trump's running for president. Isn't that funny? And then, like, people have always kind of just taken it like, I'm sure it'll end, and someone else who's a quote-unquote real candidate will take the reins, but so far he's just fucking chugging along, and he's still the leader. Like, he's killing it.
I mean, dude, it's kind of scary, honestly. I'm not saying I like any of the candidates, or I didn't mean that. The thing is, the reason I had this feeling is because I've kind of tuned out of politics. Like, I kind of have come to the point in my life where I think that you hear that noise? Oh, you don't have the headphones on.
Oh, is that the fly?
Fly.
There's this one fly that is landing. It's going from you to me to the microphone.
I'm gonna let him do it because it was cool hearing like the fly directly on top of the microphone. Yeah. He was like,
he was actually just commentating. You just couldn't understand it in his fly language.
Yeah, he was actually a pro-Trump.
Like, I think what he's doing with the immigration is pretty cool.
But yeah, that's why I said I felt like because I purposely don't pay attention to politics, and now like I do, and I'll go check my email, and like I'll get sidetracked by some story about him because that, like you said, they're driven by clicks, and they know how to make dumbasses like me click on something with the headline that seems enraging. But I will say, my main problem with him is just the racism, man. So when he gives these speeches about Mexican immigrants, and he always uses these examples of crimes they were committed by a Mexican immigrant. And he uses that as an example of like, this is what Mexican immigrants do. But the other day he was giving a speech on gun control. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about the dude who shot those reporters on TV. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That dude's first of all, he's an American citizen, also a black guy. And then forget the blackness, because right before that he said the same thing about the South Carolina white dude who went into the church and shot all those people. They're just crazy.
Right.
Like he says, that's not guns. Those people are just crazy. That's mental health. But if those people were,
oh my God, if that dude was an immigrant,
I mean, yeah, forget about it.
It would, yeah.
But to me, it's blatant racism, and it's playing on the racism of people that are out there. You know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was gonna send you this article I read. It was I read this thing. It was in the New Yorker magazine, and not a fucking physical magazine, obviously, it was online. You know,
right.
I read the physical magazine, but it was about how there's all these like right wing, like actual white supremacist groups, like not necessarily the KKK, but similar like people who are like more like if this is the thing like mainstream white supremacy, like,
right? Like
less crazy white supremacy.
No, I know what you mean though.
Like they have like they're like have like
extreme Tea Party.
Yeah, but there actually is a racial component to it. They're all like backing him like super hard because they're like he's saying we understand what he really means.
Right. Yeah, so do we.
Yeah.
I get exactly what he really means.
Dude, the one example he always uses where like the this guy murdered a girl. It was like
up in the bay.
Of course, like when it's a good-looking white girl, like things. Dude, that's when things change. Like it's just like.
And he always talks about it.
Beautiful.
Like, who cares if she was fucking beautiful? Like
beautiful Kate taken away. So like I'm not trying to say it to minimalize the crime. I'm sure it's a horrible fucking thing. And the dude I guess was deported a bunch of times and stuff. But like. You just can't take a crime of a person who's a fucked up person and like pin it on. I mean, I could give you examples from all these people, like people I live around or work with or whoever, like fucking illegal immigrants who do great things, but there's you don't have that counterpoint. You know what I mean?
My thing with it is like, and maybe this is like, and I don't another form of racism to me. Is the sense of entitlement that people feel that they're owed America, but other people aren't. Like say for example, say for example, you're a person that supports Donald Trump, and you're like they're illegal, they're not from America, and it's like why do you feel like you were born just because you were born in America? You didn't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
You didn't invent America. You had nothing to do with that. That's just where you were born. And somebody that was born in, say, Bolivia, they didn't invent Bolivia. That's just where they're born. They're like, damn, I need to be in America. That's a better place. They try to come here. Like, what makes you so? I just don't get the sense of entitlement that like I deserve America. I just don't feel like that. And I think that people are brainwashed into feeling that way by saying the fucking pledge all the time. And getting fed all the patriotic shit.
I don't like the fact of you being born in a place is like just a luck of the draw. Like whatever that your situation you were born into is what you were born into.
Did you see? Did you happen to see? Fucking? I feel like an asshole for even seeing these things. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to watch politics stuff, but it gets me pissed off, and then I click again, then I click again.
Yeah.
Of course, you know who Ann Coulter is.
Yeah.
And she was the opening act at a Trump thing. Like it was like she introduced him. She was me to Watsky the other night. She was to Donald Trump. That night, you know what I mean?
But more funny though.
Yeah, probably.
She got.
only difference is more laughs.
Only difference is her material was a little tighter.
Yeah, it was a little bit more well rehearsed, a little bit put together with more thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she said, fucking, yeah, I'm all about the idea of the wall of Trump. I think there should be a 2-drink minimum, and there should be a live drone show for people who cross the border, and like people were laughing, and that like, correct me if I'm wrong, but she was implying that the drone would be killing people that are trying to cross the border, right? And she's going to be drinking.
I didn't actually hear about what you're talking about. I didn't hear this, but there's like this percentage, like Donald Trump stays with like crazy. The Republican voters. Like he can stay with this like 18%. I'm pulling that number out of my ass, but like of people who are literally like they would be fine with like putting machine guns and shooting anyone who wants to cross the border. Like that's how the fucked up thing to me is that it's a dehumanization where people literally don't look at illegal immigrants crossing the border as people. Like they've been dehumanized to a point where people don't even look at it that way. And I think there's a lot to that. And I personally think with like if this is true with racism in general, but like people have these, if you would just get to know a few people, and you'll eventually understand that everyone, regardless of like what country they come from or what race they are, we're all pretty much the same. Like people are going to be like cool or horrible from any race or country or anything. And a lot of those people, they just see like they just have this fear of like this other, you know what I mean? And like they see like people waiting at Home Depot, and they're like they've been programmed to look at them as like not even people.
Yeah, and you know, to play the other side, because I know there's people that are listening to this right now. They're like, when did Wax's podcast become this fucking left-wing podcast? Yeah. But you know, I know there's people listening to my podcast that are probably conservative, Republican, whatever it is, and I to play the other side, I get why you have to like have some, because the system, like this, we didn't invent the system, like I said, but the system kind of like is what it is.
You can't have
no rules.
Yeah.
You can't have no rules because there are borders.
Yeah.
So there's a middle ground there somewhere, but all in all, I think the problem is exactly what you said. People are treated like they're not human, and it's like, what the fuck gives you the right to be more human than somebody else just because of where you were born? You know what I mean? That's my thing about it. As long as people aren't being assholes. I mean, if it's nefarious and people are trying to fuck with, if it's clearly I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. There's like a false understanding on the right, on the Republican side, of like illegal immigrants coming over here and getting on welfare and taking all this, coming over here for a free ride. Right. This is a complete false narrative that people are coming over here so that they can have their quote unquote anchor babies and just sit there on I've never heard of, I've interacted with fucking shitloads of illegal immigrants throughout my life and worked with lots of people that are illegal that I've talked to them. Like, I've never met an illegal immigrant personally on welfare, and I think that the opposite of, I'm not saying that there's not, there is validity to like emergency rooms and like medical services, that there's only so much available and there is like a tax on the system, but like this idea that people come over here for this, out of this lazy, like, oh, I'm gonna go over there and so I can sit there and not do anything. It's crazy. It's not true at all.
All right. I mean, I agree. Let's switch
topics. I don't want to.
I'm gonna bore you guys with
I'll
politics.
end up like, yeah, if I'll start talking too much shit.
What is some other shit that I was thinking about this week? Let me look at my notebook.
Some more lighthearted.
Did I have anything written down for the podcast? Podcast 94. This was a high thought. Creativity and improvisation, being in the moment. Higher power, any sense of fear and self-consciousness fucks it up. The less your brain is doing, the better off you are. We were talking about last night just being creativity in general. And we were talking about the songwriting process, because I always meet everybody that has the flies on the mic.
Is he sitting there on the mic? Should we try to get him to make a noise?
How do you get a fly to make a noise? Hey, fly.
I'll try to get him to fly away, see if he goes,
Oh, he did. Oh.
You hear him?
Yeah.
Is he picking it up?
Yeah.
Now he's laying right on your head. He's trying to, doesn't he look like he's trying to participate? Like,
yeah,
look, man.
He didn't like what we were saying about Trump.
He didn't like what we were saying about Trump at all.
He's like, look, man, I fly over the border every day.
I fly over the border all the time. I'm a San Diego fly. Okay? I've seen these TJ flies with their, you know.
I don't even know if I want to get into the shit that I just talked about. I was talking about creativity and songwriting. Let's get a little more lighthearted. Like, what else is going on? Let's Just ramble about what's going on in life and see if there's anything interesting, man.
Yeah,
I got some shit that I could talk about, but I'm not going to. I have like shit going on in my life with girls or whatever, but the problem with podcasts is to be blatantly honest about your life. Like, people might fuck around and listen to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
So you can't necessarily say everything. You know what I mean? Like proven with our mother listens to this podcast, and I've said things on this podcast that I'd never.
I heard a podcast once where I listened to the Champs podcast, and there was a comedian,
I recommend that highly.
There's a comedian, Roy Woods Jr., who was on it twice, and the first time he was on it, he was like talking shit about some girl and his life situation, and the next time on it, he was talking about how she had heard it and it caused all this drama and shit.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
I never heard that. Damn. Hey, you gotta be careful, man. Shit gets out there. Shit gets out there, dude. You know?
You never know.
And Wax's podcast in particular.
I mean, this is a podcast that is world renowned.
The last podcast I had when I had the Palmer Squares in for there was 40 gazillion downloads. And that was the lowest downloaded podcast I've had. Usually there's at least 70 gazillion.
Yeah.
This motherfucking fly. I think it's like he knows. Did you put fucking honey on the mic? What do flies like? Whatever you put on, is there something on the mic that flies like? He just likes that microphone, man. Maybe they just like the silver. Maybe they just like the shininess of it. I don't know.
You know how they like dog shit and poop in general? Because I'd be dropping so much shit on that mic, dog.
Right. No, it's more because you'd be shoving it up your ass as a form of masturbation. That's what's really going on.
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't be. It wouldn't seem like a good object to use for that purpose.
Why do you know so much about what's good for that purpose, fam? Let me see if I can go through my notepad app and see if I thought anything interesting recently. For those that don't know, and I'm sure some of you out there creative types, I know you do this, Herbs, like, for me, the voice recorder app and the notepad app, besides like bullshit social media and text messages and calling, are my most used app. And I just think of shit and write it down. Let me just go through some random ones. All right, this is a couple days ago. Why is every chick in porn called a porn star?
Oh, I remember you saying this to me. Yeah.
It's not like every actress in a movie is called a movie star. She's just an actress. Like, she had a background supporting role. She might have had a couple lines, but like, I think that
That's actually a good. Like, it'd be like any one in a band who ever did a gig is a rock star.
But now I'm actually kind of thinking, like, if you're fucking, you're a star. You know what I mean? Unless you're in a scene with like a group thing, like, you're the star of that scene.
You're the star of that scene.
You know. So maybe there is a point to that. But what if only a few people watch it? Are you really a fucking star?
No, you're not. It's like to say if you put a YouTube video up of yourself doing a Ed Sheeran cover and you get 100 views or something or whatever, are you a star now? If you did the same thing and you were fucking, you'd now are a porn star.
So how many porn people in history have actually been a star? Ron Jeremy is a star.
Ron Jeremy's a star.
Jenna Jameson was a star. Do you have to transcend porn starism
here's the
to
thing
be
about
a porn
porn.
star?
You know what struck me about what you were just saying? Is like, once you start, like, people don't want to start naming porn stars, then you're admitting that you know the names of all these porn stars.
I know a good amount of them. I'm not going to go through.
Like, I don't know. You know, just like, well, like Ron Jeremy, right? And maybe
right.
You know, James. Yeah. Because I haven't heard of anyone else besides them.
I guess those two are like people that actually made it from porn to regular stardom, which I think I think that girls that get into porn think that that's a possibility. But if they would do the simple research of the past, you know, maybe they think they're going to be the Barack Obama of the game and do something that's never been done before. But that doesn't ever happen.
Yeah.
Like it's never like Julia Roberts before she was regular actress was in porn. Like, there's never been an Oscar winner that started then.
That's
unless
true.
They kept it under wraps.
I think at this point in time that porn is more ubiquitous. You know, I think it could happen. I think that could happen now as opposed to in the past. There's less of a stigma around it now. I would say that a porn star is not as like Sure, they still are looked down upon in a certain way, but not in the same sense that they used to be. I don't think.
If they're open about it, I mean, fucking Kim Kardashian had sex tapes the same, you know.
Exactly. I mean, what's the difference?
I mean, there is certainly a difference, but it's yeah, because you don't have to be a star doesn't mean you're respected.
No.
Like Tila Tequila was like shit like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you remember her?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else I got in here. This is a good one. I want to start did I say this on a podcast before? I couldn't have because I haven't done a podcast in 3 weeks, and this was just the other day I said this. I might have said it before, but I wrote it down this time. Fly right there. Bang. I want to start a blog that criticizes critics. I want to start a criticism blog where you like watch reviews or read reviews and you make a review
of the review. Okay.
And and the problem is I'm a musician, so it's gonna sound like I'm fucking salty because I talked to Watsky about this because I thought he'd be a great contributor, you know.
Yeah.
But he was like, dude, if you do that, you're gonna sound to the public like you're just like a bitter, salty dude. And I was just like, nah, man, like. Take something that's not even in your genre of anything, like
a
take
food critic,
a food critic, or a movie review, or a fucking, or yeah, food is a great.
Not as much of a like. You don't have to start it as a like. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine, even though you kind of are doing that.
Nah, do it
honestly.
Yeah, just do it honestly.
You know,
yeah.
I read.
I really think it'd be interesting. It's not supposed to have. I mean, it does have an agenda, obviously, but I was thinking more like I'd just never seen that done. You know what I mean?
You could actually, and you could do it on different types. What is there? Food critics,
movie, music, books.
Yeah. Any form of art. Art itself.
You could criticize Yelp reviews. And you can go to a restaurant and enjoy it, and then just. But you know, everybody has a different experience of that. You have to take something that's one experience.
Are the worst. I can't use Yelp except I'll use Yelp if they have like 600 different reviews of a restaurant you kind of just scan down, but like I feel like people who even do Yelp reviews are all horrible people.
Yeah. The only time I've given Yelp reviews is when somebody that I know asks me to give a positive one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll give a positive one.
So most of the negative reviews on Yelp are either someone who's just is gonna have a bad time no matter what, and this has like just these expectations of like. Not even just that they want to be served and that they're the shit, or they're even like a competitor or a restaurant trying to shit on this restaurant for their own gain,
mm-hmm.
or someone from the restaurant giving a positive review, or their friends like you because someone told them to.
Yeah. It's fucking bullshit, man. It's fucking bullshit, man. All right, do a daily karaoke thing on Instagram. I'm just reading you what I got, you know.
I could look at my notepad app and see what I got.
All right, I got. There's tan, and there's I live outside, and you can immediately tell which one is right. You know what I mean?
But you don't. Do you really tell by the tanness of the skin, or
you can tell by it's more like if it looks like a baseball glove. But I said the other day, I had a thing the other day where that's not always true because like the fake tan kind of gives that same thing. Like, you know, like just like I said about the fucking the rich white ladies that live in Orange County. Me and my boy Joey were talking about this recently. Like the rich, how come like the richer you get, especially as like a white woman, like Desperate Housewife of OC or Beverly Hills type of chick, the richer you get, you spend all this money to try to look like a homeless person. You get fucking malnourished skinny. You get like skin cancer looking tan. Your face shrivels up. You know, like it's weird how you can like due to too much money and due to lack of money, you have the same outcome.
Yeah.
Is there something to be said about that?
Emaciated look. Yeah.
Like doing a juice cleanse is really no different than just like getting your daily water supply of the LA River. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it's not really that different of an outcome. I don't know if there's anything to that or not. Here's an awful one. Like I have really bad ones in my thing. Like sometimes I'm fucked up, or sometimes I think things are funny that aren't. But I said born in a bathtub, born on the bayou parody. What does that even mean?
Born in a
What does that even?
Born in a bathtub.
Like, what does that even?
Born in a what the fuck? That's like in no way like what's the concept? Just that you're.
Well, I was thinking about how fucking people do those underwater births, like they.
Yeah.
Born in a bathtub. It's stupid. I know, man. I know it's really stupid, dude. I know it's fucking dumb. Okay. Here's another one. I'm giving away all my early material, but it's all bad.
I can't believe you're giving away that porn in a bathtub.
It's all bad.
You're gonna see. What if you like turn on someone's stand-up comedy special and they drag like at the end of it, they're like, and I'm gonna close with this, and they say,
"Born in a bathtub." I wish I was back in that bathtub.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. Good night.
This isn't even a comment. It's just like real shit. Like I've been thinking about how I'm very American. You know what I mean? I'm very American. I was born in a small. I was born in D.C., but I was raised in a small town where.
Hence, you're born in D.C., American.
Jesus Christ! I was born in the capital city of America. We're adopted, raised
at George Washington Hospital.
At George Washington Hospital. Goddamn. Gotta use that, dude. Gotta use that. Somehow. I don't know how. But I've just been thinking about how if you go to where we're from, it's like Americana as fuck. It's like suburbs. Like, we're adopted. We have all these American kind of concepts. We're kind of like, we're raised one place. Like, we've done a lot of American shit. You know what I mean? My point is that a very American feeling is when you go to a restaurant and you get like something to go and they hand you the bag, and when you feel that the weight of the bag isn't satisfactory, you get that upset feeling.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like it happened to me. It happened to me recently, where like I went to the local place, Republic of Pie on Magnolia Boulevard in North Hollywood. That's where I went.
And judging by your tone, you were not satisfied.
This place, I have a love-hate relationship with this place because they have good coffee, and it's a cool place. There's always like beautiful girls everywhere. It's like this area is all dance studios and yoga studios. So I like going there, but the food just ain't up to snuff. The food is not up to par. Granted, they're supposed to be a place that specializes in pie, and I never ever like would be like, let me go get some pie right now. So I'm
so the opposite of what you just said. I'm not like. If I lived near a pie place, I feel like I eat a shitload of pie. That sounds great to go get a slice of pie.
Yeah, but if you looked at the pie they had, man, you'd be like, I don't know about this place, bro. They should find it.
Don't look that good.
Should just call themselves the Republic of Coffee. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what they should do. But they have a menu. You know what I mean? They got food there.
What is it, like sandwiches and shit?
Sandwich, salads, breakfast stuff. Okay. You know what I mean? But it's almost like, you know, it's the kind of place where you don't sit down and get served. You go and order your thing, get your number, and then go sit at a table. It's kind of hipstery, overpriced for sure. But what pissed me off, that day I was in the mood for something healthy. And when I got to the front of the line, I told the chick, I said, look, like, is your salad big? Like, I'm really hungry but want to eat healthy. Is this chicken salad? It was like a chicken Greek salad or something. I was like, is this thing big? And she was like, pfft. Like, she looked at me like, yeah, you can't. I mean, most people don't finish it in one sitting. Like, it's huge. It's a huge salad. Like, she came like, and I fucking got the shit. I paid like $12 for the salad, and she handed me the bag, and I just as soon as I picked it up, I was like, is there just napkins and plastic silverware in this bag? You know,
salad's a tricky one because it's like lettuce is inherently light. But a good salad, even if it's still gonna have some weight, especially if it's got chicken in it and other things besides lettuce.
Well, my first thought was like, you know, maybe there's deceptiveness in this weight. Maybe this weight is deceptive, and when I open it up, you know, it's fluffy and enormous and fucking grows in my stomach like rice in a bird or whatever. You know what I mean? Is that right? The right. You know how rice like explodes in a bird's stomach?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever.
But bad attempt at whatever.
Yeah.
But I fucking when I took it out and opened it up, I mean I was furious. Like it was the size of a side salad with like a quarter of a chicken breast worth of chicken on it. It was the chicken itself was like really smallly diced.
Jesus
It was like
Christ.
Awful, man. Didn't fill me up, and it was like fine. If that's the way your chicken salad is, it's fine. But don't fucking tell me that people can't finish it. Like, who are you serving that can't finish this chicken salad?
Same emaciated housewife from before.
Like, yeah, maybe if they ate a couple slices of pie ahead of time and finished it off with a salad, and they're like, I can't really eat anymore, man. I've been eating all this pie. Come on, have a salad. Go ahead. Like, maybe that person couldn't finish the salad.
Jesus Christ. I've definitely had the same, like, the opposite thing happen where, like, I go for lunch to this Filipino barbecue restaurant near my work. It's fucking amazing. It's called... It used to be called Thames, now it's called Nene's. Shout out Nene's Barbecue in Mira Mesa, San Diego. The place is fucking amazing. So I always get the 3, because it's one of those places where you get rice and then you get 1 entree, 2 entree, or 3 entrees or whatever. I get 3 entrees and I pay $7 and it lasts me 2 days. So I eat half of it one day, and when you pick up, they give it to you to go. They have one of them standard like square styrofoam folded to go things, and when you order the thing I ordered, they got to give you another extra little like Tupperware or like a styrofoam circle to give you your third item. And when you pick that shit up, it's like fucking, you could curl it, you know, you could use it for doing curls.
Dude, I love that feeling.
That's when it really is a sense of satisfaction when you feel that weight. You're just like, yeah, man, you know.
Yeah. Chinese food will do it a lot to you too, because there's so much rice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I go to I'm off. You know what's an often upsetting one is Thai restaurants.
Yeah.
Thai restaurants often have a.
I might need to get a charger for this.
How's this shit running out?
Let me
Why don't you just go ahead and stop it, because we're already pretty deep. We can do questions and shout outs.
Yeah. So I'll stop it. Save it. Get the charger. We'll just does shit.
That motherfucking fly is the star of this podcast,
and
dude.
The magic. We back.
We got some questions and we got some fucking shout outs. You wanna hit us and you wanna tell us what you bout. You can get me at beatsforwax@gmail.com. Got a question to ask. I freestyle while the Congo drum playing. Don't give a fuck about whatever I'm saying. I'm sorta like an ancient man, or maybe even an Inca. Little stinker, will you think of what you think of next? It's just the WAX. I came to flex and have sex and drink Bex. Like the German beer. I got your girl squirming here, and then I will put some Sherman in her ear. Or maybe Charmin like the toilet paper. Rappers I be harming, I will destroy you later. Yeah, I got my laptop out, cause I'm about to give some shout outs. I ain't got that many shout outs this week, but I got some questions that for answers we will seek. I didn't that was unexpected, but I don't have tons of shout outs this week. I'm far behind on the emails, man. I'm not good at I need a boss. I need a boss for my podcast that like is like.
How could you need cause see you could, I'm thinking like reminders to yourself or but you need like an actual like someone to report to.
The sad thing is like
you want me to try? Would if you want, I could just like send you a bunch of texts like, hey man, you really should do the podcast. Would that help you, or would you just get mad about
the people out there that might, first of all, if anybody's upset with me for not doing the podcast, thank you, because that shows that you enjoyed listening to it, which I appreciate very much. But first of all, I actually recently have been super busy. Usually it's because I'm just bullshitting and fucking up and whatever. But what people might not know is it's not the recording of the podcast that stops me from doing it. Sometimes I'm just too lazy to go through the emails. Like I get a lot of emails for the podcast. It's fucking probably not as many as people would think for me to be this lazy. You know what I mean?
I get hundreds of emails. But more like 15. Well, I get at least
hundreds.
2 emails.
There's hundreds for sure.
I get at least 2 emails every week.
Definitely hundreds, and I try to answer every one. And like a lot of them are, some of them are like, yo, check out my song. So then you check out the song. You know what I mean? It takes a little bit of time. Right. You know what I mean?
So that takes a lot longer than doing the recording of the podcast.
It takes
if
longer
that takes a couple hours
that,
doing the podcast, balancing it, uploading
but
it,
it's
you're
not
looking at a whole day, or not? Is that?
Yeah.
You're looking at an 8-hour day for the podcast. 4 to 5 hours. I don't know.
if you consider bouncing it too, because I usually bounce it because I got some effects and I usually bounce it out at real time.
It takes you at least 2 hours to type that Facebook post.
And I kind of like to listen to, I usually like to bounce it afterwards and kind of listen to it to make sure I didn't say anything too fucking crazy, you know? And imagine if I edited it, like that would even be worse, but now my manager wants me to videotape it. It's like, god damn, what am I, fucking a Renaissance man over here?
Is that what he wants you to videotape it?
Yeah, it makes sense. He's like, why don't you just videotape it? A lot of podcasts, they do video too.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, A, now I kind of have to be presentable or something, sort of, at least. And then B, like, I'll have to sync it up. I have to, like, I don't even get it done in audio, you know what I mean? I need to be more responsible with this podcast because I think it's actually one of the coolest things I do. It's definitely one of the most original things I do, even though it's a lot like Bill Burr's podcast. It's a very similar format to Bill Burr's podcast, but you don't have a lot of rappers and musicians that do podcasts like this. You know what I mean?
No.
People enjoy it. I should fucking do it. I will say I don't fucking make a fucking cent off the podcast. I will say that. But I enjoy doing it, man.
I've made a small, like that Amazon page. People do occasionally click on it. I'll get like a very, very small amount of money every now and then.
Oh, but that's probably because I fucking advertise it so much. I always talk about it.
But it's funny that I get it. Because
Right.
what was it, the Herbal Tea Diaper?
The Herbal Tea Diaper
It was the Lo-Fi
Fund.
the Lo-Fi Blow Dry Mixing Fund. It was the Herbal Tea Diaper Fund. And,
what he's talking about for you guys that don't know is if you go to wax.com, that's waxdotcom.com, there's a page where I host the podcast. Like you click on podcasts. And then there's a banner ad somewhere on there that if you click on Amazon.com from my website, there's like a small ass percentage of what you buy that actually goes to this fund. And it's Chris's fund. It was originally for mixing his album, and now it's for just diapers and shit. But
I came up with the idea of having that because I've heard about it before.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I should get all revenue from it.
But I pay money each month to host the shit. But I pay for a hosting service. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a free one somewhere. But like it sends it out to iTunes and does all that shit.
Yeah, man.
But if I did the shit consistently, I bet you I could get advertisers. Like I'm right below the amount of downloads where like you could actually do advertising shit. And the reason I'm there is because I don't fucking do it all the time. Whatever. The point is I'm behind on the fucking emails a little bit. But I did get some questions, though. I did get some solid questions.
Part of a feature of your podcast is talking about how you need to do the podcast more.
It's
like
pretty much a consistent feature.
It's like the
and it's not like it started late on. Like it started
was like episode fucking 4. Like,
dude, speaking of that, I fucking listened to the first because I think I told you like for my comedy shit, a tool that I'm trying to start using. I've listened to 4 of them so far. I'm gonna go back and listen to all my podcasts and see if I said and just with a notebook in hand and see if I said anything funny that I could expand on, you know. And I'm just gonna try to expand whether it's for songs or for comedy or whatever. I'm gonna try to expand on it. And I've listened to the first 4 episodes. Dude, the first 4 episodes of my podcast are terrible. Like I'm like all like fucking nervous and like. And just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like shitting on myself the whole time. It's like, I don't even think that's funny, but, man, whatever, man. I guess I just keep going.
I don't know why. You always say, I don't know why you listen to podcasts. Stupid. You're going to say stupid.
Yeah, and like what you, you know, but in reality, you know, you gotta, anything you do, you gotta suck first.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what it is. Whether it's doing a podcast or fucking painting, like you gotta suck first. You know, not saying that I've improved, but I have improved.
Now they're amazing.
I have improved. But all right, shout outs this week. We got my man BM Craze. We got Jack B. We got Marquise, aka Godzilla. Big Grant C in the place to be. Becca G in the place to be. Melissa G in the place to be. Melissa G wants me to sing a bit of Pictures of You. So if you only knew about the shit I do when I look at these pictures of you, pictures of you, pictures of you. I said, if you only knew about the shit I do when I look at all these pictures of you. Yo. So there's a little bit of that. Thanks, Melissa G. I'm glad you like that song. All right, we got Nate the Plate.
Nate the Plate
from Michigan. He recommends the band.
MI, baby.
He recommends.
I'm gonna do ad-libs for all your shout-outs.
All right, well, yeah. He recommends the band Electric Guest.
Electric Guest, baby.
I describe them as laid-back, almost lo-fi type of funk. That sounds like somebody I know. An interesting listen to say the least. I should have fucking listened. I didn't listen.
What
to
are they called? Electric Guest.
Electric Guest.
Lo-fi funk sounds good, man.
Give them a shot right now if they come up.
Electric Guest.
And this joint got 3.5 million views.
Oh, okay.
I've heard this.
I never heard this. Interesting singing. The singing is very unique. Reminds me of something Lack of Afro would do.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Okay.
Well, so far so good. I approve. And if Nate the Plate says it, it's probably going to be, Nate the Plate is known.
I usually take most of my music advice from Dishware.
I mean, we're already starting this blog because he gave them a positive review, and now we're reviewing his review. And I think in this case, I give his review an A.
What was his whole entire review?
I described them as laid back, almost lo-fi type of funk, and an interesting listen to say the.
I don't like to use the word almost there. I would go into something less qualifying and more positive.
A more definitive review, a more definitive definition.
I'm gonna give his review. For my review of his review, I'm gonna give it. What would be my rating system? I'm gonna give it a.
I think it's me and you are give it. It's like Siskel and Ebert do. We'll do thumbs up, thumbs down, but we can't directly bite. So to give them, a fucking.
What do reviews do? Like, what do they do?
I think 10? You just give them a 1 through 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that one. I'm gonna give Nate the Plate like maybe a 6.5.
First of all, I'm gonna have to go ahead and disagree with you because I like the way Nate the Plate used almost because it doesn't set you up for failure. It sets you up for the exact expectations he wants you to have of Electric Guest. It doesn't give you. It's not saying it's.
I would rather see Nate.
He's not putting it in a box.
I'd rather Nate commit one way or the other instead of leaving it open so that he's. Regardless of how you feel when you listen to Electric Guest, you say, "Well, he said almost." Well, I'd rather him commit to one way or the other and feel a little more confident.
All right. Well, we're going to agree to disagree, and I'm going to go ahead and give my final review, which should be obvious to all the people. A man with a rhyming name that's named Nate the Plate. What score am I going to obviously give him? An 8.
So we'll give him an average of 7 something.
So Nate the Plate, you got a 7. Tony M. from San Pedro recommends Joe Rogan's podcast and a band called Revolutionary Rhythm. Joe Rogan's podcast, I haven't listened to tons and tons of those because it's kind of long.
I like his podcast, but I can't listen to 3 hours. It's just too long.
It's the kind of thing where like he's got good YouTube snippets, but it's like I got shit to do today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Still.
He has good shit though.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why it's like the number one
and
podcast.
He gets like it's like he has comedians, but then he also does shit where it's like he'll have like fucking like scientists and shit. It seems like something that would be good if you were high as shit.
Yeah. Do you know of a band called Revolutionary Rhythm?
Nope.
Sounds like a reggae band. Definitely a reggae band, and he's from San Pedro too. So using Southern California context clues, I'm gonna say they probably are that. All right, let's just go into some questions. This is from Muhammad M.
Muhammad Morsi.
What?
Muhammad Morsi, the ex-president of Egypt. Remember?
Yes, it is him.
Yes,
it is him. A lot of political leaders listen to Wax's podcast.
I would think, yeah.
All right, I think that your Dale Firebird is really funny. His songs really sound better than what is on actual country stations. Hypothetically, what would you do if you were approached for a country record deal for Dale?
Sign the shit.
Oh wait, that was from Nate S. I'm sorry, Muhammad N is a different one. That's from Nate S. Dude, the beauty of getting a record deal for an alternate character that you're playing is nothing that you're doing is really representing who you are as a person or an artist. You know
that would
what I
be
mean?
amazing to have Dale Firebird blow up and just be able to like.
It'd be like getting a movie deal for Borat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like Borat represents what Sacha Baron Cohen is. You know what I mean? So you can kind of do whatever you can like. It's less fucking. Pressure in a way, because if it's less fear to succeed, less fear to fail. You know what I mean? There's no fear involved. Like just do whatever. And you
can make it all fun. It can be a lot more.
Yeah,
like
you can just say
fun.
fuck it all. So I would probably sign it.
What's the deal with Dale? I think you should. I've said a million times to you. I'm sure you probably have like. You should make an album of Dale Firebird or an EP or something.
Yeah, one day, man. Probably have the material.
Yeah.
You know, we'll figure it out. All right, this is Muhammad M. Hey Wax, it's been a while since my last email, but since you didn't hate the previous one with a bunch of questions, I thought I'd send another. First, here's a recommendation that's mostly for you. Instead of going to yahoo.com when checking your email and getting distracted by the news ticker, you can go to ymail.com instead, and it sends you directly to the login page. Did you know that?
Yes, but I don't do it.
You like to be distracted.
I go to Yahoo, and I click on mail, and I occasionally look at Yahoo. Yahoo. I actually don't think that Yahoo's front page with the news is bad as far as like make you click on shit, but it's like I don't mind knowing the basics of what's going on in the world of real news and gossip and random like fucking. They always have like a random like feel good story.
Right.
I don't mind. That's a good suggestion, though. I did know about Ymail. I did know.
All right, I appreciate that suggestion. He also does some further questions. Maybe I'm hating or whatever, but what do you think about Dan Blazarian? Dude's always taking pictures with groupies and bragging about it. Does he genuinely think those chicks are into him, or is this his way of recruiting more groupies? I'm asking you since you probably dealt with groupies, so you might have an idea of their mentality, but feel free to ignore this question if it's too personal. I don't know who that is.
I know who Dan Blazarian is. He's a guy who has like I'm not real familiar. I know him I don't follow him on the social media or whatever.
I can guess who he is just by what the question was.
He's that guy who is like now what I don't know is how he has money or fame. Like he's either a businessman or I don't think he was a movie star or something. He's a dude who has a lot of money and has an Instagram page where he has like guns and hot chicks and like always like something like where he's in a bed with like two girls and he's like got a gun.
I was gonna look at it on Instagram. I should just skip the question. I shouldn't ask questions about shit I don't even know about.
But this guy's point is that I don't know. The dude's probably a fucking douchebag. I don't fucking know. He's probably has low self-esteem. That's probably what he has.
Yeah, absolutely. Guns and chicks. Have you ever noticed that the street sign in the middle of the Continue album art looked like a pause button? Was that intentional? Yes, and yes. Yes, we did notice that. It wasn't intentional, but it was. We thought it was cool. It wasn't. We didn't try it and do it the photo, but it was. We knew it going out, and that was one of the reasons we thought it looked cool. All right. Oh, this was just an interesting email from Ed from Chicago, very regular contributor to the Waxes podcast email segment. The subject of his email was 72 virgins. Yuck. I just want one dirty whore. And he said, Wax, praise. I think I found a loophole in the system. I am an atheist. Does this mean that when I am in court and I have to swear on the Bible that I can say anything I want? Music recommendations: herbal tea, lo-fi, blow dry.
Yeah.
I don't think you've spent enough time talking about this album.
I want to take a second to talk to Ed from Chicago and voice how. Now, as far as his reviews, I mean,
I didn't finish it yet.
We may have to revise the scale.
I don't think you have spent enough time talking about this album. It rocks. Every song on it is solid. One of those albums you can play from start to finish.
Let's give Ed just. We may have to give him an 11 on our scale.
I mean, the word rocks. I mean, it's kind of a word I've heard a lot. I'm going to play the devil's advocate role in this review of his review. Every song on it is solid. Like, I need personally, for me to feel this review, I need more assurance from Ed. I need Ed to assure me more than saying that they're solid. I want him to go through every single detail, every single hi-hat, every single emotion that he felt when he was on the roller coaster that was the emotional experience of listening to that album.
I just need everything he said was a fact. Solid. Rocks. You need to spend more time talking about it and praising it. I think the listeners should demand more lo-fi blow-dry material and content. Everyone should go out there and buy the album on iTunes, stream it on Spotify, pick it up on Google Play, Apple Music. I believe it's on there. I clicked a button that said it was going to go on there.
I'm sure it is.
I know it's on the streaming service Tidal, because I received I believe I received 1 cent in royalties. Literally, I think it was 1 cent.
Yo, yeah, I agree with him, man. I love that album, and I also think it's interesting. He's like, yeah, it is weird that we swear on the Bible in court, but there's freedom of religion, and it's like if you don't believe in the Bible, what does it matter? You know what I mean? But it's not really about the Bible. It's about going to jail. It's about perjury or whatever. Maybe you're
still supposed to. To answer his question as far as being a loophole, it's not a loophole in the sense that if you lie, you're still committing perjury, which is a crime, regardless of whether you swore on the Bible. Now, maybe you could probably take
this fucking fly, man. God damn, this fool. He used to be cute.
Yeah.
Now.
But I don't think that you could probably take a case where you get the ACLU involved and say we shouldn't swear on Bibles. We should swear on fucking the Constitution or something. I don't fucking know.
But he wasn't being serious anyway. I think Ed from Chicago was just fucking around. Shout out to Ed.
I really think that's
I've met Ed several times in real life.
One of the best letters you've ever had, if not the best letter that's ever
been. The next one is really, really long. So right. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go for it, dude. Fuck it. This is from Brady, aka Rotten Smoothie. You ready? You listening?
Rotten Smoothie, baby.
Because it's pretty long. Is your mind focused on?
I'm listening.
Or are you thinking about some other shit? Because you could easily drift away from this and just.
I'm listening.
Your eyes here.
I'm listening.
Yo, Wax. My name is Brady. I'm 23 and I'm an English teacher. I've been listening to your shit since your 2010 Infinity video. I started catching up on your podcast last January while I was student teaching high school in Eastern Washington State. It was perfect to chill, laugh, and drink to after work. I'm teaching summer school now and just got a job in the fall in the same district.
Good for you, bro.
I'm also a songwriter / rapper. I've been rapping since junior year of high school. I had little to go off of, being a white, overprivileged movie book music nerd who laid carpet and worked at a movie theater, but I kept writing and rapping anyway.
How is he overprivileged if he laid carpet and worked in a movie theater? That sounds like a pretty normal, regular... Not underprivileged, I guess. I don't know. But
yeah, maybe he just mean he didn't grow up in a neighborhood that was impoverished. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was influenced by old school West Coast rappers mostly, although I listen to pretty much everyone. My rap name is Rotten Smoothie. My buddy and I eventually made an EP together in high school. We used Mixcraft and a Rock Band mic, yes, from the video game. When we finished it, we thought it was awesome. We thought we were awesome. As time went on, we realized it was awful, production-wise for sure, but also I really didn't know how to rap to a beat. I only knew how to write. The lyrics were the best part, and they weren't even that good, haha. Years went by, and we kept perfecting our craft and writing. We both improved. I have actually penned some pretty dope rhymes and flows that I'm proud of, although I still have difficulty sticking to one concept or idea in a song. My buddy, Jesse, who raps as J Smoke, and I barely get...
J Smoke and Rotten Smoothie? I love it.
Well, stay tuned, because that's part of this.
Okay.
My buddy, Jesse, who raps as J Smoke, and I barely ever get an opportunity to record anymore. Last New Year's, we recorded an awesome freestyle we wrote to EOM Zug Zug. We borrowed a legit mic from our friends so it wouldn't sound like we were in a tin can. Still use Mixcraft, though. I don't know what the fuck Mixcraft is.
I don't even know what
I have no
Mixcraft
idea.
is.
So I'm not going to be able to help you with that. It's probably the best thing we put together, and it's only 3 minutes long, and it's not even our beat. LOL. I have at least 5 songs that I think really need to record before I get too busy with my educational career. These are the songs I put my heart into. I've been working on them for the last 5 years. Jay and I may not be able to record anything for months since I teach in Eastern Washington and he's back on the west side in Tacoma. I have a question for you. If when I record these songs I want them to sound good, we have an alright mic and are still working with Mixcraft. Do you have any tips that could help us sound not so low budget? Or does one need to put in a significant amount of money to sound legit? I'm assuming the latter, but I think you may know some tricks of the trade. Jay Smoke has some questions for you as well. Ask him, I'm not going to talk about the Def Jam shit. Ask him how he comes up with hooks and ask him if he likes our rap names. Haha, we would love to hear what you have to say. Thanks for reading. First of all, I can't believe I read that. That was so fucking long, man. That's the kind of shit that why it takes me a long time to do.
Right.
That's kind of, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna
because I get emails like that where like I'm like that's not really for the podcast and I just fucking answer it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm so far behind. Also because I'm lazy. But let's start with the easy one. What do you think the rap names Rotten Smoothie and Jay Smoke? I think the names are amazing.
Are they
Rotten Smoothie? I like.
How are they spelled? Can you spell? Is it spelled
just like you would think regularly?
Okay.
Rotten Smoothie I like because it's so weird and different. But Jay Smoke I like for the exact reason it's kind of like not weird and different. It's just kind of like, you know what I mean?
Do they go as Rotten Smoothie and Jay Smoke, or do they have a group name? That would be my
I think
question.
It's Rotten Smoothie and Jay Smoke as far as I can tell. But let me look up Mixcraft. Is that a fucking computer program? What the fuck is Mixcraft? I honestly don't know.
I'm thinking
what
of like Minecraft, World of Warcraft, and somehow like It
looks like it's just a recording software thing. Dude, as I've said on this podcast many times before, if you have like a recording software that you can you can buy at a fucking store like Guitar Center. I mean, even GarageBand. Like GarageBand's a bad example, but like you can make your shit sound all right, man. Mm-hmm. Like what you need to do if you don't feel like spending money on a class and you don't feel like spending money on going to a professional studio and hiring somebody to make your shit sound tight. Dude, the information is all out there. It's hard for me to feel bad for a young person nowadays trying to get information on something when every bit of information possible is directly at your fingertips. Mm-hmm. All right, quick, some quick tips that could make you sound good. As far as vocals, you need compression, equalization, EQ, and reverb. Maybe a little bit of delay, but you just if you don't want to fucking study the shit, you don't want to become an expert, go find what some other people that shit sounds good to you do. You know what I mean? Look on YouTube for tutorials, do some experimenting, and you'll find a setting. You'll find a compression setting, an EQ setting, and like some type of reverb setting that'll make your voice sound pretty fucking professional. Mm-hmm. As far as if you're mixing a beat with a bunch of different instruments, it gets a lot more. It gets a lot more crazy than that. But I don't know really how your production is like that.
How are they getting beats? Are they making beats?
Didn't really. I assume so because he said when he said that their best thing was the EOM thing. He's like, it's only 3 minutes long. It's not even our beat. So he didn't really say much about making beats on here. But if you're not really making beats or don't know how to make beats, I wouldn't recommend just starting at 23. Like you should probably just see if your thing is rapping and writing, pursue that and get instrumentals from people who know what they're doing already. You know what I mean? There's people at 23 that've been doing it forever that are killing it. If you're a good ass writer, focus on what you do. Maybe
not focus on making beats. I would say in his comment about how they made some songs and now they think they're horrible, that's normal.
Absolutely.
Normal in that you at the time you thought they were amazing and then now you think they're horrible.
Yeah, I remember like the early shit we did. I remember giving our tapes to people that we respected, and it's like we should never given them those tapes. Them tapes were terrible shit.
You ever tell a story about how I give that tape to? There's this sax player named Carl Denson who plays in a band called the Greyboy All Stars, which is one of the best bands of all time. And we went to their show, and I had this horrible fucking tape of our band from when we were. Well, I don't know. This was like when I was. Probably this dude when he was talking about junior in high school.
We were probably 17, and the tape was probably from when we were 15.
Yeah, so it had like 4 or 5 songs on a cassette tape, and I was trying to give it to the dude. We were in the front row, and I ended up fucking putting the tape into the bell of his saxophone while they were like after they left, like between the end of the show and the encore, like as the people were no.
I can't remember exactly what you did, but you definitely put the tape.
It was
in there.
after the show ended and they walked off stage because he would have had to pick up and play the encore.
Yeah.
But I definitely put it in the saxophone, and that was the worst. Like, not only was the tape horrible, it's like what the fuck are you doing touching my sax, let alone putting something inside of the fucking instrument?
Terrible idea, man. Terrible idea. But sometimes you make terrible ideas. My last bit of advice for Rotten Smoothie there is just if you want to do it, man, just do it. Just keep going. It takes time, man. It takes time. Mm-hmm. All right, we got one more. We got one more letter here. This is from Brett the Net. It's becoming a thing. It's becoming a podcast thing, and I have nothing to do with it. It's all based on Nate the Plate. It's all based on Nate the Plate. All right. This was based on something that I had said in a previous podcast. I agree with your position on gay marriage, and I think it's really hard to make an argument against it. And I'm happy to see the laws change. But some person asked me once, if people who love each other should be able to get married, what about siblings? Should a brother be allowed to marry his sister and have children? I didn't know how to respond because it would be hypocritical to my gay marriage arguments to say two people who love each other shouldn't be allowed to get married but my concern came from health of the potential inbred kids. As I've heard, it raises chances of many medical conditions of the inbred baby. I'd be interested to hear your take on this, because it is the only argument that wasn't a religious or homophobic one, somewhat related to the gay marriage topic. I didn't immediately think this person is blindly following some religious stuff about. Brett the Net. I actually thought that was an interesting question. I had never thought about that before.
I have my initial thought is this. There is not, as far as I know, a whole community of brothers and sisters that are trying to marry each other that can't because of the law. Right? Whereas with gay people, there's millions of people that are gay that would get married, but the laws don't let them. There is not, as far as I know, this like a whole community of all these brothers and sisters that want to marry each other.
There's not that I know of. It could also be something that people is this the early stages of gayness when nobody would come out and say it for these people that want to marry their siblings. I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
And but if there's an argument where you're just like, it's just not natural, but that's what people say about it.
But what if there's 10 of them? 10. Still human beings, still people, still have a concern.
Here's my thing. I'll say this. I've talked this with people about before, with like, not that same argument, but they'll because people always try to bridge the thing like, what about people? Well, we're just gonna let people marry their dog now or do whatever like. But I've heard people say now we're just gonna let people marry like, lots of people and have these threesome marriages. Like, I honestly think like if you have consenting adults, and consenting is key because like you could have people who are like polygamy is illegal. I don't necessarily think it should be. If you could, as long as people aren't being exploited, which is hard to fucking prove because you could have women being exploited, really, like a dude who's marrying all these women and it's somehow taking advantage of them. But if there really is like consenting adults involved, I don't give a fuck. People can, as long as it's not hurting anyone else. Now, the child thing with the brother and sister, that's maybe if it's. I don't know any scientific facts about the inbred thing, and I've never really understood why if a brother and sister have sex, the baby has more chance to have defects. I've never understood that. No, I don't either.
Because when humans started out, well, it depends how you can. Because never mind.
There's definitely something to it because it's otherwise we wouldn't. I'm sure it's been studied or something. I'm sure the evidence is out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer to that question.
My answer would be that if there really were a brother and sister that wanted to get married, they should be allowed to do so. That's my answer. That's my answer. I'm sticking to it.
I don't. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think
the marriage thing to me. Yeah, but the kid thing fucks me up more.
Right, because then you maybe if it is something that's going to produce a fucked up kid, maybe yeah.
But there's a lot of
But people have bad people
have kids with
if you have
mental problems. People have kids that are born without arms. People are blind. People have all kinds of problems anyway.
And if you have a history of certain things in your family, are you going to make it illegal?
If you have sex with your brother or sister and have a kid, and what is is there a chance that the kid is just regular?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know. I would say that the
and what if
it's a good theoretical, but I don't think that
what if it's an adoptive family and none of the brother and sister aren't blood related?
Well, yeah, I think they could easily fall in love. It could happen.
Some things on Wax's podcast don't get a definitive answer. They don't get some kind of you ask me a question and we serve you an answer directly like a politician with a fucking stance where you hit your fucking fist on the podium and say that's what I believe.
Oh, God damn it, I think Jane Smith and John Smith should be able to get married.
Some questions are difficult to answer because they're difficult to answer. I'm not a god. You're not a god. You know what I mean? We don't know the answers to all these questions. You can ask my opinion on stuff. Sometimes you're going to stump me. I don't have an opinion on that question. It was a thought-provoking question, and I appreciated it. Excuse me. You got anything else to say, man? Pretty much done here, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't got much, man.
Yeah, nah.
That's like Ed from Chicago said, man. Check out that Lo-Fi Blow Dry album.
Yeah, do that.
Go get that. That This One's on Me. I guess via whatever. What are they supposed to do? Go to SoundCloud and listen to it. Go to YouTube, listen to it. Go to Spotify, listen to it. Go to iTunes and buy it. All that shit. What's the best thing? Buy it on iTunes?
Buy it on iTunes would be the best. Yeah, buy it on iTunes.
What's the deal? What's
Or just fucking send me $1,000
directly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They gonna what's coming up, man? Anything with you? You gonna release the video?
Yeah, man. My album is done. I got 3 music videos shot. I'll be putting them out soon. Just trying to get all the finishing touches on everything. What's really holding me back is just I'm trying to get a bunch of merch printed and do a bunch of art and stuff. But my album will be out soon, man. It'll be out soon. But whatever.
I'm sure the fans will hopefully have heard that before.
They have, but they have. But this time it's a lot more truth to it. Trust me.
Okay.
All right. Well, shit. Be safe out there.